Well, you better get your drink because we're live.
Ha! And cheers to a new year, I guess. Let's hope we're cheersing to a happy new year. We don't know that yet. We'll have to wait.
May have put a little much in that drink.
I was just gonna say, did you add a little too much whiskey? I got like
Possibly.
half a going here. So, hopefully not going to be too potent because, we don't want to be falling over for the live stream. At least it wouldn't be very entertaining for anybody else if we were just like, off the screen and mumbling.
No, computer, I don't want to fucking start updates while I'm doing a goddamn live stream, you piece of shit. Fuck off.
Of course you do. What are you talking about? This is the perfect time to do all of the updating.
Motherfuckers.
Well, welcome everybody to the Pop Cult Experience New Year's Day live stream that we are doing today, mostly because can't really go anywhere else.
Also because it's going to be the last thing we do.
Ever?
For a little while.
True. Yes, we are going to be taking a break from now until maybe mid-February kind of thing. So we decided that we would do a little, summary of the year and things we're looking forward to next year kind of thing. And we're going to talk about stuff, pop culture, of course, because that's what we do. But we're also going to talk a little bit more about what we want to do with the podcast as well. And some of the things we got in the works and in the plans. And yeah, it'll just mostly be a chat. And we're probably going to, complain because we do that too.
I'm going to try something before we get started.
Sometimes his experiments lead to funny things.
Yeah, they can. No, I don't want you to fucking record it. There you go. Oh, it's not going to allow. Oh, there you go. Share audio. I'm going to see if this works. Because one of the things that we're looking forward to in the new year, of course, is...
Oh.
This little nugget of a thing. Why is it showing that? Anyway. Let's go cinematic mode for everybody at home. Oh, that's perfect.
Now I've heard
Can you hear it?
There was a chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you?
I love the Cohen in it.
Goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. 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 I did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth, I didn't come to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. Hallelujah.
We need more Joe Morgan in the movie.
All right. Oh, it's so pretty.
This guy's probably fought hundreds of thousands of other super beings on the other planets he's destroyed, right? And we have to assume he's won.
I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. He's never fought us. Not us united.
I am excited for the Zack Snyder's Justice League for sure. That is on the long list of things that are coming out this year for superheroes that I am like, woo, stoked.
But we have talked about it. The fact that we do think it's a little unfair.
Well, I don't.
No, not the movie itself, not the miniseries, whatever he's bringing out. The fact that people are going to try and compare it to the one that came out.
Yeah.
And I don't think the comparison should be allowed.
Yeah. I mean, they're now two entirely separate properties, really, like with all of the things that have happened with Whedon and the time constraints that he was under and all of those kinds of things. I'm sure that he was dealing with an absolute ton of studio pressure and all of that kind of stuff. So, and we'll have to see what Snyder did. And there's probably, like, from everything that we've learned so far about Snyder's Justice League, there's no way that he would have been allowed to do this for a movie anyway. So it's not the same thing. Like,
no, that's what I mean. Like, he's getting a 4-hour long little opus, and he's getting extra money and extra time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I personally would still like to see I still want to see what he's doing, but I would like to see what he would have done had he not had to leave because of the family tragedy and whatever. Yeah. How just the same 2-hour and 20-minute long Justice League would have been different from what we saw.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll never really know that now unless he speaks out about it, kind of thing, which he may choose to. Who knows? We don't know. But yes, that is definitely, like, the TV shows are really going to be ruling, I still think, in 2021. I don't know what's going to happen with movies yet. Quite frankly. I mean, we've had so many things pushed to 2021 because of COVID. But of course, now, sorry guys, now we know that we're not going to be seeing a lot of vaccinations until, at least in Canada, until like the end of for many of us, until the end of the year, like sort of late fall. So most of the restrictions are still going to be in existence. Like I don't know if movie theaters are going to be putting stuff out or not, honestly. Although the success of Wonder Woman 84 regarding the streaming might encourage more of that kind of release after all.
I don't want to talk about Wonder Woman 84 because it's shit.
We don't. Well, we should talk about the movie.
I know that movie is 50% shit and 50% okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that has to do with Max Lord, his story arc, his everything is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Any bit of action in that movie, I didn't like the way it was filmed. I didn't like the way it was shot. I didn't like the way it was directed, stunted, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Flying scenes were hokey. They harkened back to like 1980s fucking Christopher Reeve Superman.
And maybe that was intentional, but it still didn't. It didn't feel good. Like it didn't bring any sort of emotional reaction from me. Like that was
it brought more dumbfoundedness for me.
Huh?
Like, what? She's fucking flying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I think the thing that I liked best, and I don't want to, was the cameo, and which that was proper. But other than that, I didn't enjoy the way that the film was done. It didn't feel like it had good flow. I mean, it felt choppy. I appreciated that there was more of a story there than the trailers ever gave us, kind of thing, because I honestly had no freaking idea what was going on from the trailers. So I liked.
Yeah, the trailers looked like they were trying to do a Thor Ragnarok thing.
Okay.
Trying to catch our attention by, look, we're going to do 80s and we're going to be different. We're going to be wild and we're going to bring like synth pop shit and whatever into it. And then it was just a fucking movie that happened to take place in the 80s. Whereas Thor Ragnarok kind of continued along with that theme. Like it was more out there in that style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, but it did very well, right? Like
it did. Right. Well, not surprising. I knew it was going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess good on them already having a third one.
Yeah.
In the works and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just felt that there was so much wasted potential in that movie. like when Max Lord, who is basically, I guess, your secondary bad guy-ish in the movie, has your best arc and your best character and everything, you're kind of missing out. Like, I thought that Kristen Wiig's Cheetah, Barbara, whatever, was wasted. None of her scenes were great. Her fight scene with Wonder Woman at the end was, I thought, even worse than that stupid fucking lightning bolt fight with fucking Hades or Ares at the end of fucking Wonder Woman 1.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
But again, I was more concerned, I think, in the sense of that the platform would be the problem, because of course, with the pandemic as it is, we can't count on theaters being open. But since Wonder Woman 84 did so well via this streaming mechanism, it means that maybe some other properties will get released in that way. And that is good, because then it means more new movies for us, right? Because there's really hasn't been much.
Yeah, I just wish HBO would get their head out of their ass and figure out what they were doing. Because the entire time they said that they were going to release it at the same time on HBO Max as in the theater and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah, if you're in the States. Only. So if you're in Canada, it's not coming to HBO Max or Crave or whatever the thing is until after it's finished its theater fucking run. Same with the UK and stuff like that. But they didn't tell anybody that until literally the 24th.
Right. And we had a lockdown hit us here on the 26th. So we weren't going anywhere.
It would have been nice to have been able to watch it, seeing as I already pay for HBO Max and Crave here. And then because I'm in Canada, they're like, nah, not for you. You have to go fucking to the theater. Oh, fuck, wait, you can't.
Too bad for you.
So,
none of that.
And had they told me that from the start, because obviously they knew that was how they were going to roll it out, I would have been perfectly fine with it. Maybe I would have tried to go check it out in the theaters on the 25th or whatever. But seeing as I didn't find out that they were doing it until the 25th and that it wasn't releasing in Canada, it's kind of a little fucking late.
Yeah, a little bit, indeed. Well, it certainly, Wonder Woman 84 certainly wasn't our favorite thing from 2020, for sure. But it might bode well. But what would you pick at this point? What would you pick as your favorite thing from 2020, movie-wise?
That we did?
Or whatever. Like, I mean, if it was something, that we didn't do, doesn't matter.
Well, if I had to probably pick one of the better things that we watched this year, I would pick... Yeah, don't show me that again. This.
Oh, you're going to show the trailer for it?
I am.
Okay.
Number, please.
Hello? Is that train? Large object holding over my head like a tornado.
This is WOTW Radio in Cayuga, New Mexico, and this is the news for the hour.
What would you like to tell us about yourself?
I don't know.
Well, aren't you like some big science girl? Tell me about science.
Everett, it's Faye. The sound came through the board and interrupted your radio show.
What sound?
What's going on, Everett?
718 here at WOTW. We got a sound we'd like to play that seems to be bouncing around the valley tonight.
Just such a simple premise, but so expertly done.
The sound we heard.
Debut at that.
Thousands of feet higher than anything could climb.
They've come here before. They've liked this place. They always have.
It is 7:45 p.m. and we may...
What's that? It's Everett. Stop smiling. Well, what's he doing here? He's helping me. Stop smiling.
Get in! It's outside of town! Come on! Hey, come on!
something in the sky.
Yeah, that was.
I can't say enough good things about that movie.
Yeah, bar none, that was my favorite of the films that we did together for sure. And really, in the end, I think actually my favorite movie of the year. it was the best thing. Like, it was just everyone that contributed to that film does themselves credit, whether it was the acting or the directing or like every bit of everyone who was involved in that did an amazing job. So thanks to
And I literally thought that I'd be bored to death, being, you know, an ADHD child and blah, 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 reading the write-up on it. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're going to go in for this. And then like almost immediately I was like gripped.
Yep.
And I mean, I haven't even made it past like the first couple of episodes of Game of Thrones. And I almost didn't make it into the Expanse because of the first couple of episodes, because they're just boring as fuck and blah, blah, blah. I mean, good storytelling, world building and stuff like that. But just, it didn't grab me enough that I wanted to continue. And I actually put the Expanse away after watching the first couple episodes until you and Craig and other people again were talking about it. I'm like, fuck, well, I guess I'll try it again. And I managed to make through it. And then like episodes 3 and 4 just fucking took off.
Oh, well,
this movie right from the start, like the direction, the acting, the setting, the 50s style, like everything was just, it kind of gripped you right from the start and just carried you through. Very simple story, like no huge special effects, no crazy action set pieces, no anything, just a very human kind of connected story and very well done.
Yeah. I mean, generally I would say that you are, you know, your tastes run very action driven. And I tend to, you know, I veer more towards narrative, although I definitely like action films and things like that. And this satisfied both, or well, it's not action driven. The pace of the dialogue, I think, kind of makes up for the lack of like crazy special effects and all of this kind of stuff. It's so cleverly written and cleverly delivered that it ends up being brilliant. So I think that might have helped, because I think dialogue for you is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I like good writing, and that's like some of my issues with some of, like, we've talked about, like we were just talking about Wonder Woman. The only part of that movie that I really liked was near the end, where it's Wonder Woman and Max Lord, and they're having that conversation, because I was like, that was good writing.
Yes,
that was like a very good speech. That was a very good like back and forth. That was everything leading up to that. It was just general comic booky, kind of easiness. It's like,
a little too empty kind of thing. Didn't have enough to it.
What else happened this year?
Oh God. Well, we did. I mean, the last movie we went to see in theaters, or at least that I went to see in theaters, was we went and saw Tenet. Actually, before I say that. So we actually did have the COVID theater experience, which was peculiar and okay in the end. I was okay with that. We watched Birds of Prey from the Harley Quinn, Fabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, right at the beginning of the year, and that was fun.
Yeah, which oddly enough, I think was the best DC property of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, wasn't it the only one in the end?
Well, technically Wonder Woman.
No, yeah. So far from one pole to the other, I guess, and I wasn't even thinking. Yeah, true.
And see, this could have been like the year for DC. I know Wonder Woman is doing well, but with the fact that, of course, as we're talking about DC, we can also just talk about the fact that this was the first year in 11, I think it is, that we didn't have a Marvel anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not a movie. None of the series actually started. They all got pushed back, blah, blah, blah. So this, you figure with Marvel stepping out of the ring, this should have been the year. And again, I know we have COVID and we have issues and we can't send people to theaters and stuff like that. But I was thinking that this would be the year that other things would come out and kind of get a bigger presence and blah, blah, blah. And even Tenet failed.
Yeah, it did.
In kind of the long run. I mean, maybe it'll make its money in Blu-ray releases and streaming. And it
has made its money insofar as it's like, it is broken even. But given that it was a Nolan property and all of this, they were expecting it to be, you know, $1 billion movie, and it isn't that.
No.
So, you know, it might make that over time, but yeah, it certainly didn't perform to expectation, kind of thing. So I think, of course, like, nobody really knew what was going on as far as the pandemic was concerned. Like, business wise, they were like, well, maybe we can put it out next month. Oh, maybe we can put it out next month. No, they could not.
So, yeah, that was the other thing that just kept happening was okay, here's a new date. Okay, here's a new date. Okay, here's a new date. Okay, just stop it now.
Yeah, we kept reporting on these dates for when movies were coming out, because of course we were planning on reviewing them and going to see them and all of this kind of stuff. And then eventually we were just like, we got to stop because we.
Oh yeah, like a week later they changed the date and we'd be like, oh well, I guess on next episode we'll have to amend our fucking previous whatever we said.
Yeah, it was just craziness. So yeah, we kind of gave up, but there was some good TV, and we will, and of course because it's been such a quiet year. There's a lot of things we're in production over the course of this year, slower to be made, of course, because of restrictions regarding acting and all of that and being on set. But it looks like we're going to have a ton of stuff come this next year. So that will be, I'm looking forward to those things. So we had, but there were some good series that came out anyway. So we had Perry Mason come out in the summer. Truth Seekers came out in the fall. That one is goodness gracious, now my brain is losing it. Nick Frost and Peg, thank you, and Malcolm McDowell giving an absolutely fantastic performance. It was just brilliant. So, and that one's on Amazon Prime, so I would tell everybody to watch that one. The Watchmen was brilliant. Now that's an older one, but of course it got all the attention at the Emmys this year. And I made sure to put it sort of higher on the list of things that I needed to watch, and it was definitely worth it. And yeah, there's and of course, you know, Queen's Gambit which has been exploding all over the place. Like I don't know if you probably caught some of this online. Like, it took the producer or the showrunner, the creator of that show, 30 years to get that show online, like to viewers. 30 fucking years. That's craziness.
Wow.
And he shopped it to at multiple studios, and everyone said no one's going to want to watch a thing about chess. Apparently that is wrong. Because it's had 62 million views, 62 million households have viewed this. So it's doing just fine. Apparently people wanted to know about chess.
I still have not learned a thing about chess.
That's okay. I mean, I watched it. I can't say I know any more about chess, but you know, it was still fun to watch. The production values were gorgeous. So and the acting was fantastic. So I would definitely say that it was a really, really, really well done series. But I don't think I know any more about chess. No.
No, I just meant the fact that I hadn't watched it yet.
I know, and that's okay. You don't have to. But of course, and then we had, of course, our other series, the sophomore seasons of a couple of shows that we were both big fans of.
I can't spell.
You can't spell? What are you trying to spell?
I was just saying hi to Allison because she commented in.
Oh, well, hello.
We have comments, so I figure I should reply to them.
You should. I didn't see. Wait, maybe if I. Oh, look at that! I should navigate over to this.
There are other pages that we can jump into here.
You know, I had the private chat window open, not the comments window open. So yes.
Yeah, well, you did more homework here. So what else did you bring up?
Oh, okay, well, of course, as I said, so we have the TV series that we saw the sophomore seasons for. So The Boys and Mandalorian.
Oh, so both started weak and it's strong. That's what I can say for both.
Yes. They definitely seem to take a little while to get off the pot kind of thing. The Boys, The Boys kind of started well, those first 3 episodes. They went really well. And then it went to total garbage and then managed to redeem itself in the last episode.
But literally it only redeemed itself in the last episode with a 5-minute little scene. Okay, maybe a 10-minute little scene.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't its best work for sure. But
I'm excited for season 3, but mostly for the addition of like Jensen Ackles.
Exactly.
Because I think he'll bring something good to the show. Now, The Mandalorian for me started off bad, and then just kept getting better. And I will admit that by the end of the series or the season, I was fully on board. But the first 3 episodes, to me, seemed like, as we talked about in the podcast, just seemed like side quests that you would do in like an RPG style video game. Like, and all they would do is drop a little nugget, a little 30-second, a little 10-second cameo or whatever at the end of each episode to string the story along. And you're like, no, that's not how you fucking make TV.
Yeah.
You don't base the entire episode on just some weird side fucking story and then drop a fucking little nugget of a cameo, just a 5-second scene of somebody and be like, that's how we're going to string it to the next episode and to the next episode.
If you don't need the content, then don't fucking put it there and make the season shorter. I would infinitely rather 6 brilliantly written episodes than 8 or 10 that of which there are filler. Like, it's just not, which is a funny thing because of course I do like network TV programs where they had, 22 episodes because it allowed them room to play. You could get into some of the really funny stuff or just, homage episodes or holiday episodes and things like that. And they are their own fun. But when you're doing a limited series like these, I don't want filler. I want it to be content. So give me 6 episodes of pure awesome content and not a bunch of weird side questy shit.
I mean, I get the first episode. We kind of needed because it brought about a certain object. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I can spoil it a little bit. Of course, we had to meet Timothy Oliphant's character because he had some Mandalorian armor.
Right.
That was literally the only reason for that episode.
Yeah, seems like.
And you're telling me you couldn't have put that into, like you said, shorten the season to like 6 episodes or something. You're telling me you couldn't have put that just into you didn't have to revolve an entire 40-minute episode around fucking attacking a sand dildo with teeth fucking for no apparent reason just because you want fucking this Mandalorian armor from big fucking name Timothy Oliphant, who then doesn't fucking show up again.
Yeah.
So wasted episode. Episode 2 was just the genocide of a species and nothing else.
Yeah, episode 2 just made us angry. That's all it did. It made me not like the little Yoda guy, and it made me angry at the whole show. Like, if there had been one more episode that bad, I would not have watched anymore.
No, I would have given up too. I mean, episode 3 at least dangled a little bit of a carrot to lead you into, but episode 2 literally should never have even made the season.
Yeah, I would have been happy for that to not be there.
And episode 1 could have been cut in half and just added into episode 3, split that in half because half of episode 3 was shit too, mash those together. And then from episode 4 on, it started really gaining traction and moving along. But I'm like, don't drag us through fucking 3 shit episodes. Like, especially like you said, when you have a shortened season, every episode needs to be impactful.
Yeah, to me, every one of them should count. And I and I'm a little spoiled because I do watch a fair amount of British TV, and that is the way they do things. Like, if it's sometimes a season is 3 episodes, and that's what you get. And maybe they're an hour, maybe they're an hour and a half, or something along that line. But that's it. They tell the story in a certain time frame, and it's not a lot of extra bullshit. So this is kind of what I expect from my TV, and when it doesn't do that, it makes me upset. So yeah. But thankfully, yes, The Mandalorian managed to pull itself together, and its ending was fantastic, obviously. So, I mean, the whole internet exploded. I'm not going to give anything away for anybody who, hasn't seen it yet, but it made a lot of people very happy, including me. So we'll have to see what comes. And of course, although we are now completely clueless as to what they're going to do for the 3rd season.
Yeah, that last episode kind of split me in half. It ended really cool.
Yeah.
I was fine. I was like, oh, yay. But then, again, not wanting to give anything away, a member of the cast left.
And now we're like,
and now I'm like, well, I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah. But we're getting a year off of The Mandalorian. So next year, of course, we're getting the Book of Boba Fett instead. So
is it instead? I thought it was together.
Yeah, no, as far as I understand, it's instead. It will be the property that comes out in 2021. And it's going to be it's getting directed by Rodriguez.
Which will be fantastic, because the episode that he directed, The Mandalorian, I think is my favorite episode.
Yeah. I mean, that was that whole episode redeemed the series for me. It was perfectly done. It had the right kind of.
And I mean, there wasn't a lot to that episode. It took place on one rock on one fucking planet, but there was a throwdown, fucking knockdown, fucking whatever action sequence that lasted 3/4 of the episode almost, and it was fucking well done.
Yeah. And I do want to give a shout out to Mandalorian too for having so many like ass kicking women in it that are in their 40s. Like that to me, that is brilliant. And Fennec Shan, like Ming-Na, is an awesome part of that kind of thing.
Oh, and I'm glad to see that she's going to be part of the Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, I'm happy to see that kind of thing.
But see, the other problem I had with, and I mentioned it with the Timothy Oliphant thing, is the introduction of characters, big name characters, for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then gone.
Yeah.
And then we had a certain set of characters come back, but almost in another wasted capacity as well. Like it just.
I have a feeling we're going to see Timothy Olyphant's Marshall in the Book of Boba Fett because it's on Tatooine. So I have a feeling that there's going to be some interaction there.
Until that episode comes out and I see him again, that's still a wasted fucking episode to me.
I get
if he shows up in the Book of Boba Fett, I will look back on that first episode of season 2 and be like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah. I am suspicious that is what's going to happen there, but of course, I'm making a wild guess at this point. Who knows?
But that's a very long con.
Yeah.
To fucking throw him out there in one episode, then make him disappear, and then possibly bring him back in a completely different series.
Yeah.
And shit like that. Like I like the interaction between Mando and him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got me. That's why I wanted to see him in The Mandalorian. If he goes off to the Book of Boba Fett, well, I don't know if he's going to have the same chemistry and the same back and forth with fucking.
We don't know. Could be a very different one, but it could also be still interesting. So, I'm still suspicious that he will end up being involved with The Mandalorian again at some point. But that it could be far down the line, and we don't really know. And that's just I don't know if there has been any sort of rumors circulating about his involvement with the show and whether it will be a one-off or not. I haven't seen anything online that gives me any indication about that. So we will have to see. And of course, my resolution, the only resolution I am making for this year, because really all of the other ones seem probably stupid, is that I am going to make an effort to watch the Clone Wars over the course of this year.
Probably good idea.
It was, I mean, our issue with episode number 3 in the end was because we didn't have enough of the background. And I do still think that the Mandalorian episode should have explained that better and brought
that's like a 50-50 deal, because that could be on us for not knowing the full Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
But I have a life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people that have explored the full canon don't. I'm just saying I work 9 to 5. I have other shit. I have the podcast, blah, blah, blah. And I never got into it. So then when you watch an episode dedicated to the fact that you have to know everything that happened in fucking that show, it kind of leaves you on the outside.
Yeah. And it's not like we're not fans. I mean, we are fans of the franchise in general. So it would have been nice to have a little bit more there than what they gave us, kind of thing. Because I had no attachment to this character whatsoever. And I really like Katie Sackhoff, but I mean, I didn't know anything about Bo-Katan. So let alone Mandalorian politics kind of thing. And we don't really, there's a lot of us that are, or there's a bunch of us that are a little bit concerned that now the Mandalorian will go in the direction of dealing with Mandalorian politics. And we saw what happened to the Star Wars franchise when they went into politics. And it wasn't good. So don't do it. Have funny droids. Have, some crazy flying action. Let's stay away from the politics.
Yeah, because if you want sci-fi politics, then we have something else you should watch.
Yeah, that would be The Expanse.
That would be The Expanse, which started up season 5 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so.
And we're in the 4 or 5 episodes in or whatever.
Yeah,
because it started off with the 3 back to back to back, and then 4, and then 5. Yeah, it's off to a rousing start.
It is. It is. Yeah, I am very, very, very happy. Like it's not moving quite as quickly as some of the earlier seasons did, but it's better than last season. I'm preferring the pace of this one over last year. And of course, there has been some really massive things that have happened now. So which of course we can't give away, but I will be interested to see where it goes from here. So, and we know we're getting a 6th season now. So Amazon has said that they will do a 6th and final season, but
you and me were talking.
Yeah,
you said that there was an interview with the showrunner, and she's
sort of intimating that she plainly stated that there were more stories to tell. We know, for instance, that the book series that this show is based on is 9 books now, kind of thing. Well, the 9th book is coming out shortly, correct?
Yeah, 9th book is coming out in 2021 at some point in time.
Yeah, so we know the 9th book is coming, and there. The seasons tend to do 1.5, so maybe they could
usually 1.5. It's the one book with elements of the second book just to stretch out the story, and then the second season is like the 3rd book with the 4th book kind of sprinkled in to expand the story a little bit and move it into the 5th book and blah blah blah. So we've had 5 seasons, which has spanned 6.5, 7 books.
Okay, so if that math continues, then we will get all 9 books in the 6th series. But the showrunner definitely said that there were more stories to tell, and maybe that's an expansion beyond like the core story that we're dealing with now. But maybe it's that they want to get extended, kind of thing. But she definitely sort of had this thing where she was like, there are more stories to tell, but that's all I can say right now. And then she just kind of left it at that, which sort of suggests to us that maybe there is already some discussion happening for another season, maybe with a different network.
But that worries me.
Yeah. Well,
because we've seen what happens in the past when people run out of books to follow and start writing their own stories.
Indeed. Yeah.
Everybody doesn't know what I'm talking about.
No, it had nothing to do with
the internet. Had nothing to do with Game of Thrones.
No.
Running out of fucking books to follow, starting fucking to freeball their fucking writing and destroying what was, according to everybody, the greatest show on television.
Yeah. It was very good. And then it really, really wasn't. Really, really wasn't. So yeah, that's pretty much like for television that I watched this year. I just finished Perry Mason this morning, and it was awesome.
It's something I still have to watch. I have to get into Watchmen. I have to finish fucking Good Omens. But I've been stuck rewatching another one of our favorites that has appeared all 8 and one season we do not speak of.
Yeah,
and that, of course, fucking Scrubs has found its way onto fucking Amazon Prime. And I fucking love Scrubs.
Yeah, I watched 6 seasons already. And that was like, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you were fucking quarantined, so
I was quarantined, but I was also kind of working. Apparently, maybe not as much as I should have been.
Like I've made it to, I think, season 3, but I watched like maybe an episode, maybe 2 episodes, like every 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
Kind of every 3rd night or whatever. If I had 2 weeks off straight, I'd probably finished season 8 by now, and then not have watched season 9 and moved on to something else.
I will definitely be finishing it before I go back to Germany, whenever the hell that happens.
But we'll be watching the 9th season.
I will watch it.
Oh,
I will watch it.
Such a fucking button for fucking.
I am also one of those people that sometimes doesn't. Although everybody everybody feels the same way that we do about the 9th season, but, or at least not almost anyone I have ever talked to about this show. But I am also one of those people that sometimes the first go around with a show doesn't make the right impression with me, and I need to watch it again to appreciate something. So, and I've had that happen with Doctor Who and other series as well, where it's just like, yeah, I watch it the first time, I'm like, nah, and then I watch it again, and I'm like, oh, and then I see different things. So we'll see. I'll watch it, and I probably will still like it more than likely.
My only problem with the season 9 is the fact that it was, of course, one of those seasons that was brought on after the fact. They were like, oh, we're done. Oh, yeah. Wait, you want to put another season out? Yeah. So they ended season 8 so well. Mm-hmm. It was like a fantastic ending that was basically just ruined and tossed to the side because they're like, oh, we're going to put out another fucking season.
Yeah. They didn't need to. They should.
So everything that was good about the end of season 8 was taken away.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So, before we move on, we're going to have I have to do some looking up of stuff, so we're going to have a musical interlude.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if anybody's watching, well, I know you're watching. I can see you watching. Blah, blah, blah. This is some of our friends. We made friends while doing the podcast, which is awesome.
Yes, that is directly related to one of my absolute favorite things about doing the podcast at all. It was, getting introduced to people in the entertainment business, the entertainment industry, whether they were screenwriters or producers or singers or bands, like all of that has been fucking fantastic.
Well, these are the boys from Civilian.
Ooh.
And because I need to do some shit, we're gonna entertain our folk watching with their video for their cover of Miley Cyrus's Midnight Sky.
Okay. Well, then, shall we take a step away?
Yeah, if you got to go and do some shit, go ahead.
It's been a long night and the mist telling me to go home. But it's been a long time since I felt this good on my own. My years gone by with my hands tied up in your ropes. Forever and ever. Midnight sky is the road I've been taking. Head high up in the clouds. I was born but I don't belong to anyone. No. Don't need to be loved by you. Fire in my lungs, hit by the devil on the tongue. Don't need to be loved by you. See my lips on the mouth. Everybody's talking now, baby. You know it's true. I was born but I don't belong to anyone. No. Don't need to be loved by you. She got her hair pulled back as the sweat's dripping off of her face. Say it's so bad if I want to make a couple mistakes. You should know by now that I never stay put in one place. Forever and ever, no more. Midnight sky is the road I'm taking. Head high up in the clouds. I was born but I don't belong to anyone. No. Don't need to be loved by you. Fire in my lungs, hit by the devil on the tongue. Don't need to be loved by you. See my lips on the mouth. Everybody's talking now, baby. You know it's true. I was born but I don't belong to anyone. No. Don't need to be loved by you. I was born run, I don't belong to anyone, no.
So those are the boys from Civilian. Good friends of ours.
Definitely. Yeah. They're definitely my favorite finds of the year kind of thing. So, I mean, unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of music that came around this year that I really liked, but that was their stuff was definitely on that list kind of thing. We did put out a Spotify playlist for some of the stuff that we did find this year that we really liked, though. So, people should listen to that.
People should listen to that.
I mean, we posted the link before. We could post it again. It's a pretty easy to find. It's like, what, 50 songs, 3 hours worth of music? I think 3 hours exactly, if I recall.
3 hours exactly. My OCD was so happy about that.
So yeah, Civilian was only one of the bands that we ended up sort of encountering over the course of this year.
Yeah, we got to know the boys from Adam's to Ashes, Cynical Sons. We've gone back and forth with Taming Sarah. They've chucked a couple of songs our way because if anybody's been listening to our podcast as of late, like the last month or so, we started putting songs at the end of the episodes, which we are hoping to continue to do in the new year. And I think the new year, we're going to spend a lot more time on music in general. But for me, because I'm over here, local music.
Yeah, I unfortunately, of course, can't really participate to the same level as you with it when it comes to the local stuff because I'm, over in Germany, except when I do happen to manage to get home. But, when I can, I will. And I still like hearing what the music scene in Ottawa anyway. It doesn't matter whether or not I can directly participate insofar as like going to a show. And of course, considering the vaccination situation, I don't think live shows are really going to be doing much until later anyway.
July, August, September.
So I think we're going to be still dealing with some streaming concerts and things like that, which we can certainly support, and we're happy to do that kind of deal. So there's a live stream that's coming in February, actually the day before Valentine's Day, that I'm really interested in, and it's Biff Naked is going to be doing a live stream show.
Well, I'll be all over that.
Yeah, she's a favorite Canadian artist of both of ours, so that would be some fun times. And guess who else is doing a live stream next? That I think in February as well. Glass Tiger.
You didn't even let me guess.
No, I couldn't.
Guess too, and then you just throw out the answer.
No, I just threw it out there.
I just don't know how to play that game.
So, oh, sorry. But yeah, so there's a few. I mean, many artists are now trying to do this, of course, because it's been a big loss for them financially. I can't even imagine what it must be like for a band or a singer at this, like any performance that is, appreciated by a live audience must be suffering. So whatever way we can support, it's probably a good idea to do so. And we have really enjoyed that aspect of the podcast kind of thing. So it's big in the plans. I think we wanted to do also like some more album reviews and like music documentary reviews and things like that too. I think that was sort of on our radar for this year.
Well, it's on our radar because a lot of shit is coming out next year.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the bands that we've gotten kind of close to or in contact with and stuff, I know have a bunch of shit coming out next year. So we'll be all over that. Speaking of, we just played Civilian. And if anybody is following our social media, we have shared their social media, and they have something coming out on the 8th of this month. A new song, a new video.
And they've been making a big deal of it too. So
yeah, they've been showcasing it. So well, I guess they would. They must be. I mean, you make something, you're proud of it, you want to put it out there, blah blah blah.
Yeah. I'm guessing it might be original material too, just based on that. We are actually, I was taking a look into what, like, some of the bands that we're going to be putting out albums in 2021. Of course, not everything has been announced at this point, and we really only have things for like the first third of the year. But it looks like we're going to be getting new stuff from Evanescence, from Pretty Reckless, from Foo Fighters for sure. We already
had some signals drop from that.
And Kaleo.
Oh, actually, he just dropped a single, I think, from his new album that isn't out yet. But I believe I just heard one of his new ones a little while ago.
Who?
Kaleo.
Well, they're the band. They're the Icelandic blues band.
Sorry, the band guy. Yes, I've heard something from them.
Oh, cool. Okay, I will have to go looking for that because I've seen them live twice. And they do an amazing show, and I loved that album. It was on.
I mean, I could be fucking wrong, but
you'll check.
I will check.
Yeah, and there's a new documentary for the Foo Fighters coming out, or it's out. Shit, I don't even know. That is related to this. Yeah, they did. Sorry, they already put it out, and it was because they couldn't go on tour for this year, which was the thing that they were supposed to be doing because it was an anniversary tour for them this year. So their documentary will also be part of the things that we take a look at. But we'll have to see. And what other kinds of? I mean, we had talked about a whole bunch of other stuff like watch parties. We have
watch parties. We're gonna do a bunch more of in the new year.
Yeah. I mean, there are tons of films from like the 90s and before even as well that we think people should watch. And so we're going to try and give people the opportunity to join us in watching some of those things. So that.
Now you're gonna have to put up with us talking, though.
Yeah, because we probably will do that.
That's the one caveat. That's the word. Is that we are going to discuss the movie while watching the movie. Mm-hmm. So if you just want to come in and just watch a movie in dead silence, probably shouldn't join our watch party.
Maybe not. I mean,
not that we're gonna fucking shoot the shit fucking through the entire movie, but like. Of course, on April fucking 18th, like every year. Is it 18th? Is it the 18th or the 8th?
8th.
18th. 8th? 8th. I knew it had an 8 in it. Of course, we're going to be doing a watch party of Empire Records for Rex Manning Day. Blah, blah, blah. So, we're going to talk. Because there's parts of that movie where we just have to fucking... Either it's going to be, like... trivia type stuff or fucking shit that we know and that we'd like to tell our listeners and stuff like that. Like we're not just going to shoot the shit through the entire movie. It's going to be specifically because this or this or this, like the fact that was it Coyote Shivers eventually started dating Steven Tyler's ex. So at this time of filming, he was technically Liv Tyler's stepfather and was younger than her or something. Like it was a weird fucking little, like kind of cool little fucking like shit like that. Like little nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Trivia.
Mm-hmm.
And
speaking of trivia, we have the idea. And if anybody is interested in this, or if anybody fucking we'll put a post on it too and see if people are interested. We're thinking about doing a monthly like live stream as we're doing now, trivia game.
Yeah. And there will be prizes.
There will be prizes.
They may be shit, but
we're gonna have to trust our listeners because it's gonna kind of be based on the honor system.
A little bit.
I mean, I think between now and then I can look into some programs where we could actually run like a trivia thing where people could type in their answers and shit. But I've been doing through the quarantine just a online, like through Facebook trivia thing with a bunch of my old high school buddies and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And the questions come out, you fucking write them down on a piece of paper. At the end of it, when he gives the answers, you honor system check whether you got it right or wrong. And that's basically how we're going to do it. So we're going to trust our listeners and our followers that they're honest fucking people.
Yeah. Well,
we don't know what the prizes are going to be yet, but we're looking into t-shirts. We're looking into, we're going to talk to our friend Serena over at Sensational Soaps and Lotions. And recently she made up a nice, cute little thing for Rebel 101, which had like a candle and some soaps and stuff with the Spirit of Rebels scent and shit. So I've contacted her about trying to put together a pop culture little basket. So we're going to get a couple of those made up as prizes. We're going to get the t-shirts made up as prizes. We might give away I have fucking random fucking DVDs and shit that I could just give away as prizes just for the fuck of it. Because one, I need to get rid of this shit.
I participated in an awesome like Kickstarter program for Christopher Merkley, who we had as a guest on our show back in July, I think it was now, maybe June. And he did for the comic that we actually talked about particularly in that show, Season of the Dead Hours. He did a Kickstarter to help raise money for publishing. And one of the tiers of like for donation was like, you'll get the comic and you're going to get some random thing from my house.
That's it. Like I would just give away fucking, I have 50, I think 50, if I went to count them, of those like fucking official movie theater cups. The big fucking gulp fucking ones from like Captain Marvel and Avengers and Guardians and fucking, I'll fucking send you one of my cups. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Those things are collectible. So
I've moved everything over to Blu-ray, so I still have like 100 fucking DVDs that I'll just randomly fucking put up. Fucking here. We're gonna do an Empire Records trivia, and you're gonna win my DVD version of Empire Records.
I ended up like getting some earphones or something like that, and they were totally useful. I still have them, and I still use them occasionally. So thanks to Merc. And you should.
So just for a second.
Yeah.
We want to talk about this.
Well, we can. Sure. That's on my list of things for 2021, so we can certainly.
Seeing as we're talking about 2021, we can talk about that, and we can also talk about. Where's my picture? Jesus Christ. That.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we should be talking about like the Marvel properties in general, because there's going to be a bunch of stuff this year.
Yeah, so, Disney on their fucking Disney
Investors Day.
Fucking, they went all out, didn't they?
Yeah, they put out a bunch of stuff. I mean, there is more coming than I even know what to do with when it comes to all of that stuff. But I'm excited. I'm really thrilled. I don't know if we're going to get much yet, of course. Like, I know we're going to get the Book of Boba Fett this year. But I don't know if we'll get any of the other properties.
I think the Bad Batch is supposed to come out this year as well.
Okay. What about the Obi-Wan series? Have we heard any?
Obi-Wan, I think, was supposed to also be a 2021 property.
So we might see a couple of them then. Christ. That'll be nuts. Because, I mean, we already are getting a bunch of the MCU properties are coming out this year.
That's right. I mean, we're going to get WandaVision early. I think it's February.
No, it's like 2 weeks. It comes out on
January. And then we have Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Is March.
I'm not sure of the date on that.
Oh no, it got pushed back. I think it's August.
Okay.
Anyway, we can check that.
Yeah.
While we're sitting here doing what we do. That's the best thing to do when you're on a live stream is pull your phone out and actually do the research at the same time as you're talking to everybody.
Well, I think I actually have it listed on this handy dandy thing that I had already put up, so I can just
okay, so the Obi-Wan show is looking to release likely late 2021 or early 2022 because it's only beginning filming in March of 2021. But being a show, it's not as time consuming as a movie because you can film a couple of episodes, get them ready for release, and then continue filming type thing.
Right. Okay.
So that's late 21, 22.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to bring up something because I was watching one of my videos on YouTube where they talk about like wrongdoings in movies and shit like that.
Okay.
And I think it was Honest Trailers, and I was watching the old one from Rogue Squadron or Rogue One, right? Okay. The Star Wars story, and it was hilarious because the guy from Honest Trailers brought up a really good point.
What's that?
Everybody was fucking super excited and super thrilled about the end of that movie when Darth Vader appears in the fog, in the mist, and you see his lightsaber go on, and then he walks down the corridor, just dicing and fucking whatever all of the fucking rebel fucking troopers and shit like that.
Right. Which didn't happen in the original film. Yep.
No, which leads into A New Hope, where his fucking fight with Obi-Wan now looks even shittier than it did when I already didn't like it. Because literally 5 minutes before that, if the movies kind of line up as they do, he literally just walked down a corridor and just lit like, everybody up.
Yeah.
And was like super skilled and like fucking...
Yeah, just... You know,
and then his fucking fight with fucking Obi-Wan was literally... Fuck it. So the Honest Trailer guys were absolutely fucking hilarious because they brought that up and they're like, Darth Vader here 1 hour later fighting Obi-Wan. No skills whatsoever.
Maybe he just needed some blood sugar.
Maybe. But see, that's what I'm always afraid of when it comes to fucking prequels and shit like that. Is that especially a prequel that comes out in like fucking 2015, fucking whatever, Rogue One came out, and it was a sequel to a movie fucking put out in 1978.
Yeah.
Is that the fucking, the word I'm looking for, the continuity just doesn't quite loop around.
It doesn't quite wrap in the same way.
No, because at the end of Rogue One too, we have like X-wings and shit like doing these fucking fantastic maneuvers around the fucking big space shield and shit like that. And then we get to Star Wars fucking A New Hope and the fucking special effects on the fucking TIE fighters and the X-wings and shit are great for the time.
Exactly.
Shit to watch now, especially if you try and watch the movies in chronological order and you watch Rogue One and then you watch Star Wars A New Hope and you're like, no. I can't. Like I can watch the prequel trilogy and then the original trilogy because the prequel trilogy is such shit that I'm just happy to get to the fucking original trilogy.
Yeah, I understand.
But then when you sneak fucking Rogue One in there and it had such high production values and it was such a great story and shit like that, watching A New Hope just gets even harder again.
Yeah, I still have the nostalgic love for A New Hope.
Yeah, but it wasn't even. We did our list, and it wasn't even fucking high on your list.
It wasn't high.
It was middle of the road.
Yeah. You know, I mean, Rogue One is my favorite, and
Did you put Rogue One as your favorite?
Yeah.
I thought we both agreed it was Jedi. No, Rogue One was both of our second favorite.
Rogue One was my favorite, and I could look up the list.
I know. I'm looking through our shit, but yeah, you're probably right.
Rogue One was my favorite, but Last Jedi was high on my list. And I would, and I still stand by that because I still think it was amazing. And I'm really pissed off that it didn't go the way that it was supposed to. But there's other things. Sorry?
What did we name that one? May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you. Hello? What else would we call it?
Yeah. Fine.
And there's other series that are coming out in 2021 that I'm excited to see. Like I'm really looking forward to season 2 of The Witcher, and that will be, that's going to be fun. And there's the Silence of the Lambs sort of like series called Clarice that's coming out. There's a ton of TV that's coming that more Bosch, which I love. I mean, it's like season 7, but I still love it. I don't care. But I really want to like the Marvel properties. I'm going to give them a chance, but I'm not sure if they can pull me in the way that the movies did. Yeah.
I have kind of high hopes for WandaVision.
Okay.
I like the trailers I've seen. I like what they're looking like they're doing with it.
Yeah.
And because of Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, I'm looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Makes sense.
Because I like both their characters. I thought in Civil War which of course is probably where this idea came from, I thought they played so well off each other. Like the scenes in the car where they're like, "Can you move your seat forward?" No, and then he like shifts over in between the two seats and shit like that. Like just their banter back and forth, I thought was excellent. So I kind of have high hopes for that show just based on them themselves.
Okay. Yeah, just the dynamic between the two actors kind of thing. Yeah, okay. I can see that. I like the premise of what Loki is going to be doing. So that, that could serve for some fun. And if they get silly with it, it will be better. So, because I mean, let's face it, like all of these Asgardian godlike powers and all of this kind of stuff. I mean, if you don't go silly, they get a little much really fast.
Yeah.
So we certainly saw with the Thor movies that the two best ones are, because let's not talk about number 2, but the two best ones are the funny ones, right? And Thor Ragnarok was hilarious, and also some really good action scenes in there. And we are really looking forward to Love and Thunder, of course.
That is. There's a lot of fucking shit coming out. If these, I don't know.
What?
Screen Rant is usually pretty good for me. And this is supposedly updated 2 days ago. So some of our dates, and I know we've done dates before and they've never worked out for us.
Talk about dates.
We have Marvel Studio Legends coming out on the 8th. I don't even know what that is. But it's Marvel. We have WandaVision coming out on the 15th.
Yeah.
We have Raya and the Last Dragon on the 5th of March. According to this, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is still supposed to come out on March 19th.
Okay.
The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, finally.
Come out sometime early 2021. Okay. Loki in May of 2021.
Nice.
The What If series, which I'm actually very interested in because I've always read the What If comics.
Right. Yes. Yeah, you told me about those. Those are the ones that it's like the fan theory or the fan ideas that they turned into stories, right?
Similar to that, like what if fucking Captain America was a zombie? What if fucking Red Skull had
these were all plot lines that were submitted by fans to the comics like when they were running, and then they decided to do something with them.
So that's mid 2021. Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which is the animated fucking basically I think it's based on the Rogue One kind of storyline, like that kind of.
Yeah, it was basically like a group of like they kind of splinter off from the main ones kind of deal, and they do like special ops kind of stuff. Yeah. And
then the Book of Boba in December.
Yeah.
It says Hawkeye late 2021, Miss Marvel late 2021.
Okay.
There's supposed to be either a movie or a show coming out that's about Doug, the dog from Up, in late 2021. I know Doug's getting his own show apparently.
Squirrel. Sorry.
A new Turner and Hooch.
Okay.
A new Night at the Museum. So there's some shit to look forward in 2021.
Yeah. And there's a new Stranger Things coming out, like the fourth season of that one, which is, so you have some time to catch up a little bit.
Oh fuck! I still have to watch Stranger Things. I still have to watch.
I should probably put that onto your Simon Says list.
I need to get off fucking YouTube and stop watching the same fucking like 5-minute fucking videos that I watch fucking constantly and actually get onto some of these shows.
Yeah, watch I think that, your brain probably wants to watch things in smaller chunks. And so do that. Like, the shows are still set up such that you can take like, a commercial break and, stop 20 minutes in and just leave it at that and then go to goddamn bed if you want. But maybe some of these things would be good kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff that's coming. So I will imagine that even if the theater movies don't come out the way that we want them to, there will still be many, many things that we can watch and review, because that's one of the things that we like to do on our show.
Yeah, we need to do more reviews.
Yeah.
But again, 2020 didn't really give us much to...
we still managed to review a lot of stuff.
I know, but I'd at least like to fucking review something every episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. 2020 just didn't... Well, what else from 2020 did you love or hate?
Well,
podcast wise, stuff that we covered.
One of the things in general, I would say, is actually doing the month of horror movies in Halloween for Halloween. I really like doing that. It had been a long time since I had been able to dedicate I had made time for a lot of horror movies in my life, and I really like them. So it was really an enjoyable thing for me to do. And we found that there were a couple gems that we found over the course of that, and a bunch of terrible stuff. but I really, really liked Ready or Not. I loved The Wailing. I enjoyed the Evil Dead remake. There was a bunch of stuff that came out of that that I'm really happy I finally got to see. So the Rampant, there was definitely, it continued to confirm our general feelings about horror movies, which is that Asian horror movies are usually the best ones.
Yeah, this is true. That's what we found out again.
Yeah. And we had prior to our Halloween season, we had ended up coming across another a Netflix film, or is it Prime? Correct me. Is Alive.
That was Netflix, I believe.
Okay. So that was we were thinking that it was going to be terrible. We were wrong. It was really good. So that was I definitely liked doing that kind of thing. And what else? Yeah, I would say that I also like doing a lot of those like hidden treasures, guilty pleasure things that we did as part of our podcast. Doing the podcast in general, of course, was a highlight for me for 2020.
That is true.
It was a far more entertaining thing to do with my time than just sitting on my butt at home watching stuff. Yeah, it was a more enjoyable way of spending the time, kind of thing. I was, watching things with some purpose and, learning about the ways of the entertainment universe and all of that kind of stuff. That was really great. And I'm looking forward to doing more of those kinds of things in this coming year for our podcast, right? Where we were going to be starting to bring up more stuff that is a little bit more personal to us and to our general.
I'm also looking forward to doing more interactive shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've already talked about, like the trivia, the watch parties, just more social media back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of just posting shit, maybe getting comments and shit coming in from the outside. Doing stuff like our more live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to give them all away, but like we have some cool ideas for next year coming out. The one that I will give away because I'm kind of stoked and excited about it is, of course, the Purge night.
Yes, we are going to do a Purge night.
I and maybe her are going to try and do a 12-hour long live stream.
It's insane. I don't know that we can do this.
I can. I don't know about anybody else. But we figure the Purge starts at 7 p.m.
True.
And 7 a.m.
Yep.
So we're going to play it like the Purge has actually happened and that we're stuck indoors fucking hiding from the Purge, and we're going to do a fucking 12-hour long live stream that coincides with the Purge. So we're going to need your fucking help on this one because we, as much as I'm fairly sure we could talk for 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
Whether other people want to listen to us talk for fucking 12 hours straight.
Nobody wants to listen to us talk for 12 hours. Really. Like that would be terrible.
Some other big shit that happened in 2020. Look at your notes.
Well, we had a series end, and not in a way that we liked.
Oh fuck, Supernatural.
Yeah.
What did you do?
We weren't really happy about that. It was cheesy, and I mean the show is often cheesy, but it usually does a good job of being so. And this one, it didn't, and we didn't like the way that they chose to do it. And maybe there were limitations because of COVID, but it didn't evoke the emotional power that I really quite expected from the show, kind of thing. Considering how effective they have been at other points of being able to generate that kind of stuff. So it wasn't great. In general, I would say actually that there was a few series mishandling, or some series mishandling. Other than that too, like we had the cancellations of things like I Am Not Okay With This. And that was not, I mean, that was a great little series. You didn't end up watching that one, but I did, and it was fantastic. And I think that they did a disservice to the public by canceling it after one season. I think it should have had at least another. So it's unfortunate that they did that kind of thing. But Netflix, I had actually recently read an article from the person that's in charge of programming with Netflix, and their cancellation rates are about the same as network television, apparently. So they have like about I think they said like it's around in the 60s, but the metric that is used to determine whether or not a show gets canceled is no longer really applicable, because it was based on advertising dollars, like whether or not you could put a show into syndication and have the advertising dollars coming from that. That's not a thing anymore, because we don't have, I mean, we're using streaming services largely, and obviously for Netflix, using that kind of a metric doesn't make sense. So they are looking into different ways to measure those kinds of things. So, and of course they're not transparent about their data at all. Like we have no idea how many people watch a given show unless they decide to announce it, like we heard about Queen's Gambit. But in general, we don't get to see the numbers for most of their shows.
No, it's true.
So
I just had one of our pages open, and now I've lost it.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Because it had some good shit in it. That wasn't it. Fuckers. No, I didn't.
Oh, no. I am also really looking forward to award season this year. So, and when
let's talk about award season last year.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was going to bring up. So, of course, we were super fucking happy that Parasite won a bunch of Oscars, because we feel like it thoroughly deserved that, and it was really nice to see an international film get that kind of level of recognition in it with the American Academy, because it's, you know, let's face it, the Academy has problems. And this year, even though we didn't have a lot of the blockbusters coming out, we were learning about a ton of smaller independent films that were through, because we were paying attention to things like the Toronto International Film Festival. And I am really excited to see some of those films getting put forward for Oscars kind of thing. So like we're hearing that Another Round is in Oscar contention. We've got One Night in Miami, which was Regina King's directorial debut. The Nomadland, which stars Frances McDormand. Like there's all of these great little smaller properties that we managed to hear about because they didn't get drowned out by the blockbusters kind of thing. And I'm super excited to see that maybe some of those will get released, if not in a theater, at least online around award season, so that we can watch them. So that would be really great, because I couldn't end up participating in a lot of the film festival stuff because I was geo-blocked living in Germany. So,
damn you, Canada.
Grr.
Or Germany. I don't know who to blame.
Actually, I think we're going to have to blame the distributors on that, because that has to do with distribution rights. So yeah.
What else? I found the page.
You found the page? Oh, okay.
So things that we've talked about in recent time. Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
It's Furiosa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. And I found out it was all because of George Miller's want of practical effects. He doesn't want to use de-aging on Charlize Theron.
Okay.
Because he is all about the practical effects. Like Fury Road was 96% practical effects. The only CGI he used was basically the big fucking sandstorm shit like that. So it's fantastic. We talked about Michael B. Jordan and the Static Shock films.
Oh yes, I'm excited about those too, because those will be coming. The comic book series will get revived this winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be great.
Talked about a Dexter. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to Anna Taylor-Joy for a second. So
that was Queen's Gambit.
You know, one of our hesitations regarding that was that we didn't really feel like we didn't have a lot of confidence in her range. And having now watched the Queen's Gambit, I would say that she does. So.
Mine, it wasn't her range. Mine, it was her look.
Yeah, but okay, so this is the same thing with Kirsten Stewart, right? Like she has this sort of like, often has this very static kind of facial expression. In the case of Anna Taylor-Joy, you kind of always felt like she looked like a rabbit caught or a deer caught in the headlights kind of thing. She doesn't always look like that.
No, and I mean, I didn't see Queen's Gambit. Yeah, I was going off movies like Split and fucking Glass and shit, which her character is literally being held captive by a fucking psychopath and shit like that. So I get that her facial expression is going to be different. It was just, to me, she couldn't look the mean and dirty and fucking aggressive look that like Charlize Theron brought to Furiosa.
Yeah, I think she might be capable.
I will never give anybody a pre-notion of not being good for something until after I see it.
Yeah.
But I still would have, like, once somebody does a role so iconic as that and does it so well, any other recasting of it just hits me a little wrong.
Yeah, I get it. And we in general, we really like Charlize Theron, except for recently in Old Guard, which don't watch that shit.
No, don't watch that.
But other than that, like her performances in general are amazing, right? I mean, we have one of the movies that we are going to do a watch party for is Atomic Blonde. Because this is one that I have run into too many people who haven't seen this film at this point, and it's just like, it's amazing. Why haven't you seen this? Like, so we're going to have to fix that for some people, I think.
But see, I think the Furiosa movie kind of goes generally to my hate of prequels.
Okay, like the returning to a prequel kind of thing after we've already seen the outcome.
Not even that, but because partially that and partially because of casting needs and shit like that. Like if you're going to make a movie 10 years, a 10-year prequel movie based on something that's already out, and you have to recast it, and somebody has already portrayed this role and done it so well, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can't imagine that it's easy for them to make those choices either. But for the viewer, it's also very difficult. I mean, I'd like to bring up prequels in one of our problems with Hollywood segments that we're going to continue, because we just talked about Rogue One, which I absolutely loved, but being a prequel to A New Hope, it fucks it up. Yeah, just a little bit. Thankfully.
Because everything looks so crisp and clean and good in Rogue One, and Darth Vader has mad fucking lightsaber skills and shit like that. And then fucking, if you're going to watch it chronologically, you fucking pop in your original version of Star Wars because nobody wants to watch that fucking remastered George Lucas putting in weird fucking creatures where they don't belong. Fucking dribble. And then you're watching the original fucking Star Wars, and holy fuck, it hurts your brain.
Yeah, indeed. That we definitely do want to do a little bit more of the problems with Hollywood stuff in general. Like we had talked about the whole remakes and reboots. That's going to be one of our first ones. I think that's going to be coming in February, likely. So, and on that note, you were going to mention Dexter.
I was going to mention that Dexter is getting a revival.
Yeah.
Another show that I never got in. I have a problem with fucking television shows that everybody else likes. It's like I refuse to watch them. It's like I'm a fucking television hipster where if other people like shit, I gotta go do my own thing. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I didn't watch Breaking Bad. I never watched Dexter. I never watched Mad Men. I never watched fucking Sopranos. Jesus fuck. I watched like Justified, The Expanse, and Scrubs.
I mean, well, two of those are. I don't have an opinion on Justified yet because I've only just watched a few episodes.
That's a good show.
I know it. It's Timothy Olyphant. I'm going to watch it. It's on the list. It's on my hard drive to watch it like now. But as far as the other two shows, I mean, at least those are good choices.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with watching those shows.
But there's nothing wrong with the things that you watch. Maybe you should be talking about some of those. I mean,
and I never watched Stranger Things, and
that's okay. Like,
how do I do a pop culture podcast if I haven't watched the like 5 biggest shows in pop culture history over the last 10 years?
Okay, well, maybe you should catch up on some of those.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Maybe. But, that's okay. We have long histories of pop culture. between the whole, Whedonverse and the Star Wars and the
you're going to mention Whedon? Are we going to mention the fact that he stepped away from the Nevers?
Yeah.
And most likely due to the fact of his shit behavior on fucking Justice League?
Yeah, it seems likely.
Which now other people have come out. Gal Gadot has jumped on board.
Oh, when did that happen? I hadn't caught wind of that yet.
Well, shit. Now I have to Google.
Yes, you're going to have to Google that.
Entertain our fucking...
What, am I supposed to, dance?
I don't know.
Well, I can talk about one of the things that I'm excited for today.
There. As of December 17th, Gal Gadot says experience with Joss Whedon wasn't the best.
Okay. That's not a condemnation, but it certainly isn't support. It isn't support.
And so far, we've had remedial actions taken based on everything that happened, which I'm going to assume is the whole Joss stepping away from the Nevers, which is a Warner Brothers property.
Okay. All right.
Other people have jumped on board with that and said that it's because we're getting a Firefly reboot, which I am 156,000% against.
Yeah. Unless they do something completely different and make it set. It can be set in the verse. That's fine. But don't fucking call it Firefly.
If there's a fucking character based on Mal, Zoe, Wash, and I will not watch unless it is Nathan Fillion or fucking Gina Torres or fucking Jewel Strait or Adam Baldwin or fucking Summer Glau or...
There is a new comic series coming out centered around Zoe and Wash's daughter that's starting this year from Boom Comics. And
that I could get in on if that is what the new show is based on.
I was just going to say, considering that at the beginning of December, we had the drop of the comic that was about Wash, right? So it could be leading in that direction. And if they do that, then I'm okay with it. Because it's, but it's not going to be the same thing.
But I will not be okay with that because if they follow the Wash story, I don't think they're going to do a de-aging of fucking Alan Tudyk.
Oh, no. I mean,
which means they're going to recast the Wash character as a young swashbuckling fucking pilot, fucking Han Solo style fucking pilot.
I wasn't thinking in that terms. I was thinking more in the terms of that they're just sort of the introduction of that comic just sort of helps to it's like the layup, right?
Okay.
For leading into that kind of a series. I really seriously hope they don't do a reboot of Firefly. Again, happy to have something set in the verse, but considering they're talking about making it more PG and it won't have the edge, and I don't want them recasting those roles. I really don't.
And this is coming from 2 of the world's biggest fucking browncoats.
Yeah, we are big fans.
Do not fucking reboot fucking Firefly. I have missed the show. I thought the show should have continued. I've always wanted the show back, but I wanted the show back in its original form.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to reboot. I do not want to recast. I do not want any of that fucking shit happening. You want to create another story in the verse?
No problem.
Fucking be my guest.
Yeah.
But if I see another fucking character, another actor playing Malcolm Reynolds, I will fucking piss on my fucking TV and fucking I will write angry letters.
Yeah. I agree. That's just don't do that. So yeah, we will be talking about reboots, and I'm sure we will revisit that subject again.
That's one of our problems with Hollywoods that are coming up in 2021.
There's, one of the other things I also want to do in the upcoming years, I want to do a couple more reviews of other podcasts. So, because there are some really good ones out there, and there are some that are.
I want to get together with other podcasts.
Yes,
similar. Cool. I mean, we did a review of the Michael Caine one.
Yes, that was great.
Which is good, but I want to find smaller podcasts.
Yeah.
Join forces with them, other pop culture podcasts, and have them on us and us on them, just talking about how maybe theirs is different from ours and shit like that.
We should maybe we should be talking to the Zero Issues podcast boys there that Christopher Merkley is involved with, because he does a comic book podcast, right?
Should be awesome.
Yeah. So, and they're, three guys, 4 guys. Shoot, now I don't remember, that like sit around and chat about comic book stuff, and considering, and they talk about some of the movies that we're going to be talking about in the shows. So that kind of thing would be fun to do a gathering of wits. Oh boy, would I be outnumbered.
You're just one of the boys.
No. I am most assuredly not one of the boys.
Yeah, I spent like 20 years of my life just being one of the girls. Not that hard.
I'm quite happy to be a girl. It's good. It's a good thing.
Well, I'm quite happy to have a penis, but I'm okay being one of the girls in a fucking figurative fucking manner or whatever.
In the conversation, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, I used to go to the bars and it was like me and 6, 7 girls, because that's just how it happened.
Yeah. It's because they flocked.
I got called in to help a fucking friend with her bachelorette party because her maid of honor and her got into a fight and her maid of honor left. And then I got like a random phone call. Help. I'm like, okay, I'll be there. And then I had to fucking like walk around with an inflatable penis and talk boys into eating like lifesavers off one of my like really good friends' tits and shit like that. It's weird.
Yes. They do weird things at bachelorette and bachelor parties. Yeah. It's strange
shit.
Yeah. So that's kind of that was the bulk of the stuff that I had like prepared. But that doesn't mean there aren't other things. I did want to mention, because you managed to come up with your stuff before I got to talk about it. So the thing that I'm excited about today is that there is a new Doctor Who holiday special, and I haven't been quite as enamored with Doctor Who in for the last couple seasons. Jodie Whittaker does a fine job of being the Doctor, but I'm not. The storylines haven't been as engaging for me. But this particular episode brings back a much beloved character that's been part of the new series. Like, I think he showed up in 2005. So it's John Barrowman playing Captain Jack, who is this like pansexual, basically kind of like a pirate. His character is fantastic, and he's making a reappearance in the episode that comes out today. So I guess would be out now, kind of thing, because it would have happened in the UK. So yeah, that is the thing that I'll be looking forward to today, and I will definitely be watching it.
You know what I'm looking forward to, which I think is happening this month.
What's that?
Let me just Google this.
He has a thing. We don't know what it is.
I just saw it earlier.
We could have like drum roll. That was
January 14th. So
okay.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Is
he's expecting
this
to play a theme song. Oh, it's not. Play the game. Right.
Four-player co-op.
So, is this a remastered version of the original game, or is this a new game?
No, it's literally just the original game.
the best characters. They so with my understand, like of course, Scott Pilgrim celebrated its 10th anniversary in August of this year, and we watched it and did a watch party for that, if I recall. And it's a favorite of both of ours. It's definitely in my top. Probably it's in my top 10 movies, like probably period, just because I love it. Anyway, but my understanding with that was that the games just hasn't been available for.
No, it was out for 1 year, I think.
Okay.
A short time, fucking right around the movie when the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was pulled. I don't even believe that I know the reason for the pull.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I think I might have read something, but I don't want to say because it's not clear.
So I got pulled, whatever reason, blah, blah, blah. And then they brought it back. And I'm super excited for it to come out in 2 weeks.
So is it going to be available on all consoles and like across platforms kind of thing?
I've reading it now. Will be released on multiple platforms, including the Switch. So Xbox, PC, PlayStation, Switch.
Nice. Now there are some other games that are coming that you're really excited about as well, right? Do you want to talk about some of them?
Oh, 2021 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of...
Or is there anything that you want to do regarding gaming next year for the podcast that you want to mention, maybe?
I was hoping to start a gaming channel as part of the podcast. Actually, what we had talked about was basically fucking me and the noob, which would be my co-host sitting right there. We're going to attempt to fucking get on and play some games together.
That would be hilarious. Yeah.
And fucking record them and put them out and shit like that. So
yeah, because he'd likely be mopping the floor with me and whatever it is, but I don't care. But this is dependent on you getting a new system, if I recall correctly. So we'll have to see as to whether or not these things occur. But yeah, that would be fun times for sure. I mean, I have been wanting to explore more console gaming in the last number of years. In general, the games that come out that I have been seeing, in part through you, actually, are more interesting to me than I thought that they would be. I'm not really into like shooting games per se, kind of thing, but some of the more like like fantasy based ones, and then some of these like, you know, more apocalyptic ones, that kind of gets my interest. So I would be kind of quite curious. And then one of them that we were talking about just the other day, actually, the more fantasy related though. Little Nightmares?
Oh, Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of it today.
Oh, nice.
Restarted it. Downloaded it because it's one of the free games for Xbox. And we were discussing it that I'd bought it a long time ago, played through half of it, and then had to sell my copy of it for reasons. And I'd been looking to re-get it and just never got around to it. And then it was announced as January's games with gold fucking for Xbox. So I downloaded it today and played like an hour of it. Still such a good game. And the second one's coming out in the new year. But the games I want to talk about, the two best games that I played this year.
Okay.
Which I don't even think are from this year, but it was just because of the pandemic and shit that I had more time for gaming and shit like that. So I sat down, and because they were part of the Xbox Game Pass, which I've continuously fucking heralded fucking through our podcast, I think it was great, was the Ori and the Wisps fucking tale.
Right.
Those two just simple sides. I wouldn't say simple. Two beautiful graphic wise and story wise and everything, side scrolling platformers, but very intricate in the story and the gameplay and the puzzles and the puzzle solving and shit like that. And the story, like it's a fucking video game of like a little white fucking a little sprite.
Yeah.
That fucking runs around. But the characters he meets and their backstories and the shit that happens throughout the game. Like I caught myself playing a fucking silly fucking colorful video game, basically like half tearing up because the shit that was happening on screen. Like villains who the only reason they were villains was because as a child they were fucking neglected and made fun of, and then grew up to be a fucking an asshole.
Yep.
Basically based on fucking life experience and shit like that. Like it was weird to get so much fucking emotion and shit out of just a simple platformer. And this is the way the games are going. Like one of my hidden treasures from very early in the season was Inside, which again is another just simple platformer with puzzle solving and shit. And it starts with no exposition. You just take over a character and you start going. And it gives you absolutely nothing until basically the last minute of the game. And then the entire story gets fleshed out kind of for you at that time. And it was a riveting kind of experience of playing an entire game, not knowing why you were doing it.
Yeah.
Most games, they tell you right from the get-go, oh, you're the Witcher. You hunt fucking monsters and you do this or whatever. This literally was other than like the ambient music in the background, was a 99% fucking silent game of you just moving from fucking left to right, solving puzzles and doing some shit. And then right with like the last fucking like 5 minutes of the game, they're like, and here's the reason you've done all this. And you're like, what the fuck? So it's all these smaller games like Ori and Inside and Little Nightmares and shit like that I've really gotten into over the last little while.
Yeah.
All the big blockbuster ones like the Call of Duties and shit, I've just they've fallen by the wayside for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm more into like the small little indie games.
Well, obviously you like the puzzles because all the games are puzzle based, right? So
I like more of the story. I mean, a Call of Duty game, it's big, it's bombastic, it's like Michael Bay fucking made a video game and shit like that. But the stories aren't riveting. They're not enthralling. They're not fucking like, I like the smaller, close knit, like personal stories.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like a game like Call of Duty or a game like Cyberpunk or a game like that, they have these big, huge, like Grand Theft Auto and shit. Grand Theft Auto, I didn't play for the story. Grand Theft Auto, I played for the fact that I could drive around and shoot anybody I want and blow shit up and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Whereas fucking games like Inside and shit like that, they were such just intricate little fucking stories that actually dragged you in more to the character and not to the exposition and the shit going on around you. Like, playing Grand Theft Auto is fun because you're literally living inside like a living city and there's other people doing shit and blah, blah, blah. And it basically creates like a secondary life for you. But it's more just about blowing shit up and flying around in planes and killing people and blah, 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 which is entertaining, but it's not fulfilling.
Yeah.
But playing one of these like little small indie games like Ori, which I absolutely loved, and getting to the end of the story and unraveling it as you go and shit like that was just more fulfilling by the time the game ended.
Yeah, indeed.
And the story and the writing was just so much better. Like in the first fucking game, you're going up, your big bad, who shows up periodically through the game, is basically a giant owl. Like an owl creature that's like walking on stilts. It's like, it wasn't just a regular owl. It was made to look more scary and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But as you're going through, and it was like one of the first games I ever played where the villain's backstory was laid out in front of you too.
Yeah.
And then you realize that the villain of the movie isn't really, it wasn't really a choice to be a villain. It was circumstance. It was what life did to the owl that created its villainy.
Yeah.
And you actually felt fucking bad when the game ended and you quote unquote beat the villain.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, no, I don't even feel good about doing that.
It's like, but I didn't want to do that to it.
Yeah, like I honestly didn't want to finish the game because I knew that the end of the game would be with me beating, I can't remember his name, which sucks, but beating the big boss, the fucking owl creature at the end of the game. And by the time I got to the end of the game, I didn't fucking want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he's literally just, he was born from his circumstance. And it's basically like somebody who gets bullied through their entire life and becomes an asshole. And is it really their fault that they became an asshole, or is it fucking everything that led up to that point?
I mean, in the end, you are, as they say, responsible for processing the things that happen to you. But it is you need to have some empathy for some, like, where someone has come from, kind of thing. Like, that is.
Well, also in the story with Ori, it's weird because what you're trying to do is going to affect negatively, technically, the villain, quote unquote, villain's existence.
Yeah.
So while it might help you, it's going to damage somebody else.
Yeah, this is. I like that games have gotten that level of complexity to them now, where it's not simply good versus evil. It is like your decision.
It's good versus chaotic neutral, almost like it's
and
weird.
or also different sides of good, because that what is good for one person is not necessarily good for another, and like all of these kinds of things. Like it's the world is a complicated place, and trying to put black and white boundaries on those kinds of things when it comes to who is bad, who is good, it doesn't work. It doesn't fit in with what we are now understanding. So yeah. Oh, one of the other things that I thought that one of my favorite discoveries of the year was Hamilton. I absolutely that was just great. I was like, I was even actually talking about it with family over the Christmas holidays, kind of thing, just saying how much I really enjoyed getting to see like the televised version of the original Broadway cast. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't sure I was going to, but it just seemed like too much. It's too big of a thing to ignore, and I'm really glad that we watched that. It was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, even I enjoyed that, and I didn't expect myself to. But the songs were top notch. They were fun. They like the beat and because normally when I think of musical, I think of these long, drawn out like sonnets and fucking whatever. These were all like punchy, almost like hip hop rap style, like fucking quick beat fucking songs. And I actually like really kind of got behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda knows what he is doing.
Like I enjoyed, like I went to see Wicked, really like that. But again, it's in that same style where the songs are fun and funny and upbeat. Whereas I've also seen something like Phantom, and seeing that once, good enough for me. I fucking wanted to take a nap in my chair. Like it's just so slow and fucking methodic fucking song and shit like that. Where great story and whatever, but it's just nowadays, I don't think the same thing flies.
Yeah.
People want more energy behind their shit. And so, yeah, something like that. Yeah. And a retelling of like a historical like event in person. And in that style, I actually learned shit about somebody I had no fucking clue about.
Indeed. Yeah.
In an enjoyable way.
Yeah. The Andrew Lloyd Webber's stage productions were always, over dramatic. So, and this of course is things like Phantom of the Opera and Cats, and let's not talk about that movie because that movie came out.
Let's talk about that movie. It had cat anuses.
But it didn't.
No, they were originally filmed in and then all got taken out.
I know.
Which is weird. That they were originally filmed in. Like
just like I don't anyway, that whole thing I don't understand. But yeah, so I mean the Lloyd Webber stuff was always really dramatic, and I like how things like Hamilton can still manage to be dramatic. There were absolutely like heart-wrenching moments in the show, but yet the music was really engaging. It wasn't just all like sad and sweet and things like that. It was or just meant to be powerful. Like it was as I said, it was engaging. So yeah, that was the thing that I really, really liked. And I would like to do more of that if possible. I mean, I'd like to go to the theater and go to concerts and talk about those, but we'll have to wait on that, I would imagine. Probably until season 3. So,
it is going to be a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark.
We are.
So why don't we just wrap this up with a talk about more talk about what we're going to do with the new year and the fact that this is going to be a break of sorts.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but we need time to fucking rebuild, we
want to prepare some things. You know, we want to increase our social media presence a little bit more. I mean, we both have busy work lives. You know, I'm doing a PhD. You got a full-time job. Life happens, man. And we still also have to somehow manage to like eat and shower and things like that. You know, so those things are important. But we would like to, you know, up the presence a little bit more. So we want to do more. We're going to be doing more interviews with some of the bands that we have been chatting with, and we of course would love to see. We'd love to get to know more bands. That would be really, really great. I mean, we want to learn more about these people and what they do and how they create what they do and bring us all this, you know, awesome stuff.
We're also going to. I want any of our viewers and stuff. Don't leave it all up to us. And I'm saying that in the fact that if there's any subject matter, if there's any ideas that you would like us to talk about, fucking whether you had favorite cartoons from the 80s and you want us to fucking do an episode about fucking 80s cartoons, I'd love to do an episode about 80s cartoons.
Yeah.
Shit like that. If there's just shit that you want us to fucking discuss, well, this is kind of what you just spoke on, that we want to up our social media presence so that we can get some of that back.
Yeah. Well, we also want to do a little bit more focus on the Gen X factor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are both Gen X kids. We're sort of like the last year of the Gen Xers, if I remember correctly. And as a result, we have like these really particular cultural experiences. And there are things that I think should move forward, you know what I mean? And then there are some that we should probably be examining in the light of, well, now. So, you know, I think it works both ways. So we can showcase some of the stuff that is amazing, and we can also sort of acknowledge some of the things that maybe are not.
Also, I think we're going to kind of do a little rebranding on each episode, concentrating more on
features as opposed
more personal stuff to us.
Yeah.
Whether it be our segments, our hidden treasures, our guilty pleasures, our Simon Says segments, our homegrown segments, and blah, blah, blah. And maybe less on the news and previews.
Yep. Unless there's something of particular requirements.
Instead of trying to talk about 20 different news items,
yeah,
we're going to skimmy over 10 of them and then deep dive into like 3 or 4 of them that we really have like an investment in, because if you guys want to know about fucking pop culture news, that's what Google's for. That's what social media is for. Other people are going to be posting and talking about that. Yeah. We kind of now want to turn. We had a good first season. It was fun. Mm-hmm. We learned a bunch of shit about fucking ourselves and what we want from this. I think season 2, our sophomore season, is just going to be more personal.
Yeah.
That's how I would like to do it.
Yep.
I would like to talk more about the shit that means something to us, and less just about the generic bullshit and news and fucking. I don't want to come online and fucking rhyme out the release dates of 30 fucking movies repeatedly fucking through the year. I would like to talk about the 1 or 2 movies that I am fucking super excited about and shit like that, instead of just a generalization. Less generalization, more personalization.
Indeed.
Oh, write that down.
So we will not be back until February for sure. We're not sure exactly when, but we'll keep you guys.
There was a reason we were supposed to come back earlier in February than we were going to.
Talk about the Expanse.
Oh, because that's when it's ending, and we want to do a full-on recap of seasons 1 to 5, I guess.
Yeah, so we might do that. We'll see.
And if we don't do that, then of course we're going to come back around Valentine's Day, because that's when we started this whole shit with our fucking our unconventional Valentine's Day movies, which we of course are going to do again.
And we of course we didn't talk about the unconventional, romantic aspects of television shows last year. We decided to leave those off because we found so much stuff, and then realized that we didn't have time to talk about all of this. So we can, veer in some other direction. But we will keep you apprised on social media, and there will be, news and blurbs from us over time. It's not like we're disappearing, but we're not going to have any new episodes until February. For sure.
And I know you'll all be very, very sad.
I know. God,
it's understandable. I mean, I love us too. So I get it. I'd apologize, but I'm not sorry, because when we do come back, we're going to be bigger and better and more
but that might
streamlined. We might be more. I think we're going to have more fun, because what I want is less research, more
chat,
more banter.
Yep.
I don't want to spend every week of my fucking life or every day leading up to recording day researching 40 fucking news bits. I want to fucking research 3 news bits, really get into them, the ones that mean the most to us, and then banter about other shit that we think people are going to be more interested in from our segments. And like, I think we had the most fun when we did like our Asian movie.
Oh my God. Yeah. That
special,
was great.
Or our Pride and Pop Culture special, or and just bringing more.
Like when the research means that I get to watch things.
Yeah.
That's
not
best.
just Google shit and then talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because anybody can just Google shit. If you want to know the fucking premiere date of fucking some fucking movie, well, look it up.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear our fucking comments and commentary on a certain thing, that's what I want to do more of.
Or if you want to like come on and talk about it too, this is a thing.
Yeah, we want to get more people on.
We like having people. People are good.
I think we should have a guest on at least once a month.
That would be good. I would like that.
A guest or more.
We will see.
So more specials, less just random generalized shit. So that's us.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking forward to in 2021 is a more personal 2021. And hopefully more shit happening. I mean, probably not until late summer, fall that life kind of starts to get back to normal. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we got some. There are many things to experience in between now and then. Anyway.
Well, it's like you discussed. I mean, 90% of what's coming out in the next year is going to be TV based.
Yeah.
Whether it's Disney Plus, Amazon, HBO Max has a bunch of. I think it was leaked or Zack Snyder accidentally let it go that March is the release date for the Snyder Cut.
Wow.
So that's coming just around the corner.
Yeah, that's like no time at all. Holy crap. That'd be awesome. Well, we will be keeping our, listeners in the loop.
So that was fun.
Yeah. So everyone have a happy new year and, stay quiet, stay calm, keep yourself healthy and all of that kind of stuff. And we
talk hard. I just wanted to yell that out at the end.
And we will be chatting with you more again in February.
Oh, by the way, that's a watch party coming up.
Talk hard. Okay.
Pump up the volume.
I know.
Not Talk Hard, the Dewey Cox fucking story, because that was shit. Pump up the volume.
Yes.
Watch party.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, guys. We should post on our social media some of our ideas for coming up and get people's fucking comments on them.
Ooh, do some polls.
Yeah, some polls of which ones that they would be more interested in hearing us talk about. Like movies, which of these 5 movies would you like us to do, or would you join in on a watch party for?
Yeah.
And then pick one of them and fucking, out of these 3 topics, which one would you like to fucking get involved into a conversation about? More polling.
Mm-hmm. People like polls. I mean, that's just
People
like
polls.
It's an easy thing to participate in. So.
Cool. That's us for a month.
Yes. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your month. Stay warm as best.
First, so still Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And before we go, just one more share here.
Okay.
Because it's fun. Because it's another band that we enjoy.
Oh, yes.
She said, straighten up, soldier, instead of playing a fool. We got no time. We broke all the rules. You say you wanna change the way I live. You say you got nothing left to give. I never said it will be easy. I never said it will be fun. But if you know you're the only lover, oh, you're not the only one. Not the only one. Down with the devil, out with the lies. You got to get away, but you got nowhere to hide. Down with the devil, out with the lies. You got to get away, nowhere to hide.
If you want to hear the rest of that, you can go find it yourself.
Yeah, that was Taming Sari, and they're a great band that we have discovered through the course of this podcast. And I got to meet the drummer related to some auctioning.
Picking up one of your auctioneer.
I think, and great guy. So I am really looking forward to maybe having them on the show in the near future. And I want to give a little shout out to Jennifer Mulligan, who was the screenwriter from Ottawa that we had on the show. She gave us a little bump on Twitter. So thanks to her. And otherwise, take care, everybody.